So me, myself, I started out shooting iron sights in 2001 here at Parris Island, and all the way up until I did 3 deployments with iron sights, and then we transitioned from iron sights to the RCO. Would I want to go back to iron sights from the RCO? Absolutely not. Today we fight an enemy that's constantly evolving. We need to evolve as well. The statement that Marines are less than Marines because they shoot with an RCO vice iron sights is completely absurd. You can teach the fundamentals off of an RCO, same as applied for the iron sights, but the RCO provides us things such as a mil scale that helps identify what range individuals is at. And when they go to combat and they're engaging targets, whether it be Afghanistan across the field that's 300 meters wide, or they're in Fallujah, Iraq, and they're in urban environments, and they can quickly engage targets, quickly acquire their sights, and defeat the enemy before he defeats us.
That's Chief Warrant Officer 2, Billy Chenault, the officer in charge at Chosen Rifle Range, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, Parris Island, explaining why the Marine Corps went to an optics-first approach. Warrant Officer Bobby Yarborough, the Communication Strategy and Operations Officer at Parris Island, explains further. Official published doctrine by Marine trainers have found there are advantages of training recruits to first shoot with the rifle combat optic, and no disadvantages of not starting with iron sights. In 2016, the Marine Corps started phasing out the legacy M16 iron sights after having already listed the RCO as the primary sight. Each year, Marine Corps gunners and range officers meet to discuss the Marine Corps Marksmanship program and what changes they can make to improve the program. The operational environments of the modern battlefield and the irregular warfare of Afghanistan and Iraq influenced the Marine Corps' decision to adopt technology to improve the combat effectiveness of the Marine Corps. The process of learning marksmanship hasn't changed, but injecting technology drastically advances the marksmanship learning curve. In 2018, Secretary James Mattis published his vision for the National Defense Strategy, which included increasing the lethality of the armed forces. He said it best: "We cannot expect success fighting tomorrow's conflict with yesterday's weapons or equipment." The fundamentals of marksmanship do not change from the RCO to iron sights. Marines at recruit training are taught on the same weapon system that they would carry into combat if they deployed today. Shortly before the Marine Corps made this official decision, I attended a training seminar hosted by Trigicon on use of the rifle combat optic as a primary sight. The Marines that were in that class I was in stated the reason the Corps was pushing for use of the M150 was that they were seeing great benefits from its employment in Iraq and Afghanistan. In addition to the obvious potential shooting benefits, they were finding that having it only available to designated marksmen found the rest of the squad more heavily leaning on that particular shooter because they were the one that had the magnified optics. And the decision was, well, why don't we just give this to everybody? Having made that decision and published it in official guidance, the trainer's decision was, well, if that's your primary sight, then that's what you should start with because that is primary. The Marine Corps has no data, none, indicating that not using iron sights is providing any problem. The question is not why the U.S. military is pushing for the use of optics. The real question is, why did it take us so long? When the Marine Corps made this official policy in 2012 and then started officially phasing it out several years later, we were probably about 20 years late on doing this. And other militaries were doing it 20 years earlier than that. There are examples of allied nations making optics primary sights and general issue from the late 70s and early 80s. If anything, we're behind the curve on this. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And share this with some of your Marine friends that are insisting that you still have to use iron sights first.